Welcome back to my little adventure in making this enormous journal, which is going to be 4 journals, 16 signatures in total. My name's Kirsten, this is where I art and craft, and we did the signature of this one last week, which I've now put in its cover. It's a wee bit, I'll put it down there, I've now put in its cover. So we did this signature last week, and you can see how I've done the front, and I've decided I'm going to have a butterfly on the front of all the cover. Now there's a little butterfly down there, but I decided that one was too little, and I put that. This actually comes from Hazel Crazy Arts. It's a free download from her, so pop along. I'll link her YouTube channel below, and pop along if you want these. It's a whole page of butterflies. This one you've seen before, but I finally decided I was going to print this. And this is one of Tim Holtz's. It's Tidbits. It's 488. And that's now stuck down. This one I've created. This is the cover for, but I haven't got any further with it. And then I've sprayed one side of this one. Now, the reason I've got all these in not very easy space-wise is that they're all using the same basic colours that I then use in different quantities. So I use scattered straw, tea dye, milled lavender, weathered wood in the distressed oxides sprays, and then I use wild honey, tea dye, and I've lost the other one, brush corduroy in the spray stain. Then I'm using either, this is the only thing that's crushed olive or fossilized amber to splatter on my gold. This one's a crushed olive. As you can see, it's got a kind of greeny tinge to it. This one's actually got both of them on. It's got the crushed olive and fossilized amber ones on. And the big difference is these kind of more, this one has more tea dye on it, this one has more brush corduroy and milled lavender on it, this one has more wild honey on it, and this one is going to have more weathered wood on it, which is why it's kind of got that greeny look. It's also, because I've used less of the straw, gathered straw, it's also showing less, and I am wondering if I need to, you know, there's some white bits around here that there haven't been in the other ones at all. And that's obviously the gathered straw obviously covers more. So at the moment I'm wondering, well, maybe I'll do the other side first, and then I'll decide whether to go back and do anything with that side. So the first thing I do is, and I'm going out today, so I thought if I did this quickly before I went out, then it will be ready for its second coat when I come back. I've sprayed the water, and then I'm going to put in scattered straw first. Now they say shake it like that and stuff, and if you shake it like this it splatters in the cap, but because it gets messy anyway, I'm not bothered about it splattering in the cap, and it's quicker to shake it this way. You probably didn't hear any of that. If you shake it up and down like I just done, then it gets into the cap. But I wear a glove, so I'm not bothered about it getting into the cap. Now I want to not put too much scattered straw down here, but also remembering that on the other side it's getting near the bottom. I'll just tip it up that way a bit. Oh, there we go. So I'm putting a bit more down than I did last time. especially in the corners. Oh, I've maybe put too much down. Never mind. And we'll put some tea dye on here on the same. You don't need to shake quite so long when you do it that way, because you're shaking more vigorously. Right, that's plenty of that. And then a little bit of dried lavender. And weathered wood's the main one this time. So what I do is I put down all the oxides apart from my picket fence, and then some of these don't pop back up again. You've got to help them out. I'm going to have some splashes of weatherwood as well. I think there's some big. For some reason, this one doesn't get as mucky as the others. And then I just put a bit of paper down on it just to. So this is cartridge paper I'm using. I think I forgot to do this last time around, which is why that's gone very murky. I'm going to spray that again, because that's gone very murky in the centre. Let's just put some more weathered wood down. It'll dry fine, but I like the kind of, and a wee bit more mild lavender, I think. That's better, because it's all kind of gone a bit mixy up together in there. Right, not happy with that one at all, actually. That's the first one I've not really been happy with. It's typical that that's the one that I'm doing with you, isn't it? So I've got a lot of, just dab it round a bit. Anyway, I'm going to let that dry. As you can see, I'll take that out of the way for a second. As you can see, this is now dried. It is looking slightly bluer this side and more green, and that's because there's more yellow at the background of this. Weathered wood tends to come out bluey greeny blue, and there's more weathered wood, so it's come out more bluey than the greeny, where the blue's mixed with the green on this one. But that's okay. They don't need to be identical. But what that says to me now is, because the next thing I do is I put on some distress spray as opposed to the oxides, and with the distress spray I'm going to add some more. I'm going to use the wild honey mostly, well maybe even solely, to try and make this greener. Because it will just bring out the green a wee bit. So we'll put that, and the other then, so this time round I've sprayed it onto dry, and then I spray water on top. I always tend to do, you can already see how it's greener. I always tend to spray the stains after and the oxides onto it, because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray on some picket fence. This is maybe going to be a bit orange. I think I'm going to dab off some of this first. I've maybe overdid that ever so slightly, so let's just dab off some of this first, because the wild honey is quite orangey. Just going to dab off some of that excess wild honey, bring it back down to the, like, actually I think what I'm going to do is, instead of adding the picket fence, I'm going to add a bit more withered wood. Let's give it a shake first. Basically, my understanding is that the oxide sprays are the stain sprays with picket fence added, which is why you don't have picket fence in the stains, because the picket fence is basically what then makes all this magic happen with the oxides. So I'm just going to spray this, as you can see, and then we'll leave this to, it gets to the stage where you need to pull the plunger back. This one's nearly finished, so spraying down isn't very successful. I'll just tilt the box. I know some people spray just on a sheet. I mean, you can see even from this box how dirty the sides are. I find it ends up everywhere if I do that, so I always spray in my box. Right, you can see how that's greener now. It's always dries a bit lighter than it is here. I think I'm still actually going to put a wee bit of picket fence on just to calm it down a bit. There we go. Oh, I love how that just kind of, you can see the oxide immediately working, especially with picket fence. A wee bit down here, I think. It's almost like watching something dissolve. Right, I will be back once this is dry. Here we go again. Just like, I can't remember the rest of the words. Something about somebody had the right to, I can't remember. Anyway, here we go again. We've ended up with a very kind of mottly colour. I've overdone but never mind. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's all fine. It's all fine. I'm now going to put some Distress Sprints crushed olive, but I'm just going to shake it until it starts rattling, because that gets the mica out the bottom. And I'm not spritzing it, I'm using it as a splatter. And I'm just going to splatter these on. Oh, one more. Put some up in that corner. Oh, this is what happens sometimes. It just all decides to splatter in the same place. There we go. And we're going to, are you ready for it? We're going to put that aside to dry. Well, that's a first. I took a photograph instead of doing the video. So you didn't see me put... this is, right, yeah. So what I did was I folded this into the right size using the one I already have as a template. Then I cut a gap down the centre fold so that it doesn't interfere with the spine. I inked up this spine because, as you can see, the paper doesn't come out again, so not to interfere for when I'm doing my sewing in. And then I've stuck a piece of rice paper with this one, and these are both from Arty Arty, and on each of these. Now they will need to be trimmed, but I'm not trimming them yet. Now what I'm going to do, this is just a stencil from B&Q in this country, but just a hardware store. Meant for stenciling your walls, and I've been using the same stencil all the way through. If you look at this one I used it the other way up, and that big stencil's there, and then I had the other ones, but I think what I'm going to do, see this one's down here, and what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use this high up here, And I'm going to do all them, and then I'm going to do that again here, I think. But we're only going to do one page at a time. So I'm using the Distress Embossing spongy thing. I'm using Lost Shadow, and it gives that kind of shadowy look to it. Now, of course, you don't need to do that at all. You could just put your papers on and leave it like that, and that would be fine. But I just like that wee extra bit of something. Right, so now I'm going to trim this off. So the next thing I want to do is I want to put my gussets in. And so I want 3.5-ish. Because you don't want them the full length of your pockets. It's always better having them slightly shorter than your pockets. Let's do this in half. And although this is thin paper, it is so strong that it'll easily do these gussets. And let's cut that one there. You can see these squares are all slightly different sizes, the different sizes and layouts. Now, of course, you don't need to put gusseted ones. I'm putting gusseted ones on because I'm thinking I'm going to keep things like receipts or maybe leaves, flowers, pressed flowers in these pockets. Now, in case you're new to gusseted pockets, what you need to do is you need a bit of paper. You fold the bit of paper in half like that, with what you're wanting showing on the inside when you fold it in half, and then you fold it back again in half to that line, so that you end up with a W. And then do the other one. So you're folding it what you want on the outside, not on the inside of your pocket, the outside. So I want that bit on the inside of my pocket where you're not going to see it really. And fold that back. And fold that side back. And then the dip in the middle of the W you want to have it that way round, so the dip in, so it's opening your outside's outside, and your dip in the middle of the W is inside, so that it's pointing inside. And then what you need to do is you need to put both your down on your inside bit. So don't put it round that way, because this is your outside, remember. So the dip in the middle of your W goes down so that it's outside. And then, you made sure that you've got it, then put your glue on these two bits. Oh, and what I've forgotten to do is I'm going to just wipe that glue off for a second. No, I'm going to just, no, I'm not. What I've forgotten to do, and we'll do first. No, we won't. Yes, we will. We haven't finished cutting and inking up. So let's go with this one first. We want the centre point in this, which should be round about the 10.5 mark, just slightly over. And I'm going to put a notch in. I'm thinking I don't really want to leave this one. I could have done the rest afterwards, but I don't really want to leave this one till afterwards. So let's just put the notch in there and do the same on this one. Then we'll ink this and put this one down, and then we'll go back to finishing off. So it's just over 10.5. Yeah, that's sticking. Put the notch in. There we go. Ink this up. Let's glue this down again then. So I'll just put this glue along here and along here. And then just stick that down. And then the same here. Put a bit more because the other one still had a bit of stick on it actually. There we go. And you see, although that didn't look like it was a big bit of paper, you've now got a decent, a decent size gusseted pocket that you can really get stuff in there. You could have put a gusset in the bottom as well, but I didn't want to do that. So what you'd have done is you'd have folded out in, and gusseted along the bottom. But I think for what I'm wanting to do, it's more about being able to get easy access than actually having loads of stuff. If you want to keep loads of stuff, then maybe you want to gusset it more along the bottom as well. And then these two come down. Let's just score them a bit better. I think we're going to have to, this is what sometimes happens after doing the heat embossing, the things curl. We might have to press this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round these corners with the biggest rounder that I've got. Four. And let's ink all the rest of this up then. I'll put that inside the bottom edge. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this under here to press as we do the next bit. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to make these little closures, and what I'm doing for them is, this is my Arty Arty bits. I'm taking the sheets that are on my matte photo paper, and these are the two colours. So I think I want green Oh no, I want to do it on the outside. I'm doing it the outside. Originally I thought I'd do it what the inside colours were doing, but I'm actually doing it on the outside colours. So I still think I want to probably use green for both sides, don't I? Yeah, let's just use green for both sides. So I need 4 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 of 3/4 of an inch, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of an inch. Originally I thought what I would do is these dials, I thought I would use them as my small ones, but they're so small that I actually decided I didn't like them. I just felt by the time I put a brad in the centre of them, it's actually, some of them it would work okay. See, that one would maybe work. So I decided that instead I was going to use these papers. So what I have is 2, 2. So we need 4 of each. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the little circles on top of these. This is already 3 thickness, so I'm just adding another thickness to it really, because the top little circles need to be nice and firm. For a moment, because we're now going to get some split pins. I think these ones, I was going to use green on all of them, but I think the green ones are maybe too dark for the front cover. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to nip off the top end of this, because it's got to hide behind here. No, behind here. It will stick out further than that, so I'm just going to nip off the top end. Oh, Jodie Lewis isn't going to like my holes, because they're not going to be in the centre. Because I don't mind my holes not being in the centre, but Jodie Lewis will, because it's very hard to make them into the centre. So I just eye it. This is my top tip. Get your tweezers, and with your tweezers, well, before you put it in anything, use your tweezers to open it up, okay? To open that up like that. Then push it shut again, and you'll discover it won't shut all the way. Oops. And you'll have to put it through your hole and then push the other side down to get it through, and then when you get it out the other, do that closer. Wait a minute, do that closer so I can show you. So see how it's now apart? So you push it through the hole, but you'll have to push that side down until you get it both bits, because it won't go through the hole quite as easy as well as it's flat. But it's now separated. Now you can use your tweezers. Can you see how that's separated now? You can use your tweezers. Having it at different lengths also means that you don't need to get your nail down into it. It's the opening them up first so they're not as not close as closed. There you go. Right. Then we're going to glue these. No. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of washi tape over. I like to put a little bit of washi tape over for 3 reasons. Firstly, it just means that you're holding your brads down, your split pins down, and especially when you cut them, and 9 times out of 10 I do cut my brad legs, to tell you the truth. The split pin legs, I can't remember, these are called brads or split pins, what's the difference anyway? It means you're cutting up, you're covering up that sharp edge bit, and so it's not going to go poking through a bit of paper or something. So that's reason 1 for doing it. Reason 2 for doing it is when you're doing this kind of thing and you're going to be sticking this bit of disc on that disc, you're not going to get great adhesion with a bit of metal, so this gives you something better and more acceptable for the glue to stick to. And the third, and maybe the best reason for doing it, and even if you don't want to do those other reasons, this is the reason to do it for, is what you don't want happening. Ooh. What you don't want happening is you don't want the glue going down there and sticking your two circles together. Right, let's stick these down now. So we're going to stick this one now. And here, and we're going to do that with all of them. And what I like to do is, once I've got them all nicely lined up in the right place, oh, and that's the thing I forgot to do. I forgot to ink my small circles before I put them on. So remember, ink your small circles before you put them on. Because let's take this out. That's had a chance to press and it's flatter now. And we just need to mark the centre point of this. Now before I let's put the bottom one on first. Oh, let's at least ink up the bottom one and try and get a bit of ink on the top one. Oh, there we go. That's alright. I'll get it and just catch it a bit. There we go. And if it's off centre like that, then try and have the off centre down or up or something. Where's my wee mark? There it's there. Let's ink this before we glue it this time, make life slightly easier for myself, and just catch that there. Not brilliant gluing, inking, but now I'm using this, and this is a little treasure I found. So put it round the ends between the two, and this is crochet cord. Because it's crochet cord, it really holds well, and I don't need to do another knot. I know from experience that I don't need to do another knot, it will stay done. And we'll just put the scissors in there and snip it so that that's in there. And this was such a wonderful find, because not only I got several this colour, green and purple. I think there was 2 of the green and the purple and 3 of this colour. But they all have this little bonus in them that I didn't know about until I got them. Look. And I leave them in there until I'm needing them. Look. How about that for a bit of extra freebie ephemera? I discovered they have them. So if you're looking for, and there's a little round sticker thing as well. If you're looking, if you ever see these, and have a wee look and see if they've got the bit of paper in, because they're worth getting just for the bit of paper. Right, that's going on there. I discovered that, of course, I can't now write on these because of I could put a board. I could put a board in, but even the board's a bit kind of wobbly. So I think I'm going to leave this all for. I'm going to wait until I've finished, and then put that in, sew it in, so I can take these pages out and work on them without having to worry about those. Of course, what I should have done is I should have decorated the front of this first, because of course we've got those bits on, but never mind. Let's find what we might put in the front of this. I quite like the idea of using this bit. Maybe it's a bit yellowy, and that's actually in this kit, in this one, so maybe I won't do that. What should we do here? And what else shall we put on? I've got these, but oh, let me show you this, because I did this especially for you, because on all my pages I've been using the tea dye for these, and what I did was I did you examples. Now this is on tea dye, tea paper, rice paper. This is on tea dyed paper, so this is all the same digital. That's it on tea dye paper. That's it on recycled copy paper. That's it on the tea bag paper, and this is it on matte photo paper. So you can see that, and that it's all exactly the same settings I put these through on, and you can see how the paper you use makes a difference to the results you get. So if you're thinking that you want something looking like this, but you're only going to use it on matte paper, then it's going to come out like that. It's going to come out far whiter. Well, this is for example, this is that option, so that would be there. But if you'd copied it on the matte photocopier paper, then that's what you'd have. If you did it on tea dyed paper, then that's what you'd have. If you did it on, this is recycled, just plain copy paper, but I use recycled, so it's got a slightly kind of grey tinge to it, you'd end up with that. So I just wanted to show you that because I'm using the tea dye. I wanted you to understand the difference. There we go. So that's the cover, signature cover for this one. So here we go. This is now finished, and I've also got the other three finished. So we now have our first of the 4 journals, the 4 signatures for the first of the 4 journals. And next time round what I'll do is I'll show you the cover I'm making. I've linked all the kits, the 4 kits, the 3 Phenology kits, the 5 kits, the 3 Phenology kits, the Arty Arty kit and the Assemblage kit are all linked down below. And we will see you very soon. You take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now. Keep crafting.